I realized something was terribly wrong the moment I heard my mother's voice, echoing through the hallway, sweet, gentle, and weaponized, like a blade dipped in honey. "Ethan, sweetheart," she said, stretching out the last syllable the way a cat stretches before pouncing. "You would tell me if my daughter ever mistreated you, wouldn't you?" It was in that moment I froze mid-step on the staircase, clutching the rail so hard my knuckles whitened. My mom wasn't supposed to be home. She wasn't supposed to be talking to Ethan. And she definitely wasn't supposed to be using that voice, the one she only used when she'd chosen a new victim. And this time, it was my boyfriend. I remember the exact spike of adrenaline that hit me, like someone had smashed ice into my veins. Ethan wasn't just my boyfriend. He was the first person who made me feel seen, heard, and not like I was a supporting character in my own mother's never-ending drama spiral. He was quiet, careful with words, thoughtful. Everything my mom despised. She loved people she could bend, twist, fold, and tuck into whatever emotional shape she needed. And somehow, she had decided that Ethan, gentle, sweet, non-confrontational Ethan, was her next project. I leaned closer, keeping my body pressed against the cold wall as I strained to hear. "Oh, no, Mrs. Dalton," Ethan said, voice tight. "She's amazing. Really." My mother let out a soft, breathy laugh. "You don't have to lie to protect her. I raised her, remember? I know everything about her. Everything." A part of me wanted to storm downstairs and drag Ethan out of the house like a hostage from enemy territory. Another part of me, a darker, angrier part, wanted to know how far she was willing to go this time. Because with my mom, every move had an agenda, and every agenda had a casualty. When I finally stepped into the living room, my mother had positioned herself beside Ethan on the couch, angled just enough to look affectionate without seeming predatory. She even placed her hand on his knee. His knee. I cleared my throat loudly. Ethan practically jumped off the couch. My mom just smiled, like she'd been caught watering plants rather than emotionally suffocating a guest. "Oh, honey, you're home," she chirped, standing and brushing invisible dust off her dress. "We were just talking about you." "Really?" My voice sounded flat, even to myself. "Of course! I was telling Ethan that he's such a wonderful young man, so polite, so smart, and with such sad eyes," she sighed dramatically. "They're my normal eyes," Ethan muttered, visibly panicking. I grabbed his hand. "We're leaving." "But I made tea," my mom said, voice sugar sharp. "Ethan likes tea. He likes boundaries too," I snapped. For a second, just one, my mom's perfectly curated expression cracked. Then she smiled again, like molding her face back into place. "Well," she said softly, "some people don't realize how lucky they are to have someone care about their relationships." I dragged Ethan out the door before she could say more. In the car, Ethan exhaled shakily. "Your mom is intense." "She's a psychological hurricane," I corrected. "Next time she talks to you alone, run." He laughed nervously, then turned serious. "She asked weird things, personal stuff, like really personal." "What did she ask?" He hesitated. "She asked about your childhood. She asked if you seemed ungrateful sometimes. And then she asked what qualities I look for in a mother figure." My jaw dropped. "A mother figure?" "Yeah," Ethan said. "She kept saying she has so much love she wasn't allowed to give." I pressed both palms to my face. "God, she's starting again." "Again?" Ethan asked. That was when I told him everything. About my mom's obsession with creating the perfect emotional tableau. How she would take relatives, friends, sometimes even complete strangers, and wedge herself into their lives until they crumbled under the pressure of her expectations. She once tried to replace my aunt's youngest child because she thought he wasn't grateful enough. She unironically submitted legal paperwork, thankfully rejected, to become his guardian advocate. She needed people to need her, to worship her, to orbit her. And now she'd chosen Ethan. He listened silently, then squeezed my hand. "I'm not going anywhere. I won't let her get to me. I wanted to believe him. But deep down, I knew my mom didn't lose. She hunted. Over the next few weeks, small things started happening. Ethan began getting random texts from unknown numbers. Unknown. Are you eating well? You look skinny in your photos. Unknown. You deserve a warm, loving home, one that appreciates you. Unknown. Some mothers fight to keep good sons. It didn't take a genius to figure out who was behind them. My mom also began accidentally bumping into Ethan on his way to work, or dropping by his apartment with extra dinner, or offering him rides even when he refused. Each time, she'd message me afterward. Mom, Ethan looks tired. You should take better care of him. Mom, he told me about his family. He needs someone stable, someone motherly. Mom, if you treated him right, he wouldn't look so lost. One night, Ethan showed up at my door, pale and shaking. We need to talk. What happened? Your mom came to my job today. I felt my chest tighten. Please tell me she didn't. She talked to my manager, he said, voice cracking. She told him I needed emotional support and shouldn't be working so late. She said she was my informal parental advocate. I swear the world went quiet around me. She, what? She insisted on it, he said. She convinced him to cut my hours. I grabbed my coat. We're going to her house, right now. But when we got there, my mother wasn't apologetic. She was triumphant. Oh, Ethan, she said warmly, pulling him into a hug he didn't want. You shouldn't be working such long shifts. You're practically family now. You need someone to protect you. He tried to pull away. She held tighter. Something inside me snapped. Mom, I said, voice low. Let him go. She turned to me, eyes bright, feverish. I'm helping him, honey. He needs structure. He needs warmth. He needs a mother. He has a mother who never loved him, she shouted, pushing past me. But I do. And if you can't see that, then maybe you don't deserve him. Ethan froze. I stared at her, stunned, breath gone. My mother stepped forward, slow, serene, terrifying. I am filing a petition, she said softly, like she was telling me dinner was ready. A petition to adopt him. Ethan choked. What? You're 21, she said. You qualify as an adult adoption. It's perfectly legal, and I can give you what she never could. I whispered, horrified. You're trying to adopt my boyfriend. I'm saving him, she corrected. From you. For a moment, everything around me blurred the walls, the furniture, the floor under my feet. All I saw was her smile. That awful, victorious smile. That was the moment I realized my mom wasn't just spiraling. She was escalating. And if I didn't stop her, she would take everything from me. Even Ethan. I don't remember leaving the house. I don't remember how we got back to the car. All I remember is Ethan sitting beside me in complete silence, staring blankly ahead as though the world had been pulled out from under him. My mom, I whispered finally, is trying to legally turn you into my stepbrother. He made a strangled sound. I know. And then what? She adopts you, and suddenly we can't date because it's inappropriate? Is that her plan? Ethan dragged a trembling hand through his hair. I don't know, but she's serious. She believes every word she said. That was what terrified me most. My mom wasn't delusional in the way people meant when they said it casually. She wasn't hallucinating or mentally detached. She was fully grounded in reality, but she twisted it, reshaped it, and weaponized it until everyone around her became characters in a play only she could direct. She wanted ultimate control, and she'd chosen Ethan as her next character. I turned to him. We're gonna stop her, I promise. Ethan didn't answer. The very next day, my mom escalated. At 9:32 a.m., I got a message from her. Mom, just met with my attorney. He agrees that Ethan would benefit from a nurturing parental presence. My throat tightened. Mom, the paperwork will take time, but I'm committed. This family needs unity, and you've pushed him away with your selfishness. I responded instantly. Me. Stop. This isn't your decision. She left me on red, then blocked me. She blocked me. Ethan called 10 minutes later, voice thin. My mom showed up at my apartment. My stomach dropped. Mine or yours? Yours. She knocked until someone said you weren't home. Then she came to mine. She brought a folder of documents, 2 inches thick. She wants me to look them over. What documents? She says they're the preliminary adoption forms. I swore so loudly he flinched. What did you tell her? I asked. I said no. I said this was insane. But she just smiled. She said she understands trauma makes people resist help. Help, I spat. That's what she's calling it. She told me she's willing to be patient with me, like I'm some wounded puppy she's trying to adopt. I closed my eyes. Ethan, listen to me. You cannot be alone with her again. I know, he said softly. She scares me. Hearing it out loud made something dark and hot rise in my chest. We agreed to meet at my place. But before he left his apartment, my mom sent him a text. Mom, sweetheart, I know my daughter is manipulating you. She's jealous. She doesn't want you to have a real family. But I do. I will always want you. He didn't answer. So she sent a photo, a picture of him, taken from outside his apartment window. Ethan arrived at my place, shaking so hard he dropped his keys twice. She's watching me, he whispered. She's actually watching me. I pulled him into my room and locked the door. She's obsessed, but we'll handle it. Ethan looked up at me, eyes wide and glassy. What if she actually goes through with it? What if some judge agrees with her? What if... She won't, I said, but my voice wavered. Because I had seen my mother talk judges into things. I had seen her talk even therapists into believing she was the victim. I had seen her manipulate entire rooms until every person believed her version of reality. She was dangerous, not just emotionally, legally. The next few days were a blur of anxiety. My mom kept trying to contact Ethan. When he blocked her number, she emailed him. When he blocked that, she used her work emails. Then she used burner accounts. Then she started showing up to places she had no business knowing about: his gym, the cafe he liked, even the bus stop he used on rainy days. He tried to ignore her. I tried to shield him. My mom tried to break us both. But then she crossed a line that made everything worse. One night, Ethan showed me a message she sent from yet another new number. Mom, I spoke to my lawyer again. The adoption is proceeding. He believes you'll agree once you understand the benefits: insurance coverage, emotional stability, a trustworthy guardian. I know you're scared, but I'm not giving up on you. He threw his phone down. I told her to stop. I begged her. Why is she doing this? I swallowed the truth I didn't want to say. Because she wants to prove she can take anything from me, even you. Ethan stared at me. Why? My whole life, I whispered. My mother needed to be the hero, the savior, the center. If anyone else becomes important to me, she has to either control them or destroy them. His voice trembled. I'm scared she's trying to do both. He wasn't wrong. A week later, everything exploded. It happened on a Thursday morning. I woke up to 23 missed calls and a voicemail notification from an unknown number. My blood ran cold. The voicemail started with my mother's voice, smooth, triumphant, eerily calm. Good morning, honey. I just wanted to let you know I'm on my way to the courthouse. Ethan and I had a long conversation, and he finally sees how much I care about his well-being. I'm filing the initial paperwork today. You should be proud of me. I'm doing this for our family. I sat up so fast I got dizzy. What conversation? Ethan would never agree. He would never. I dialed his number, straight to voicemail. I tried again. Voicemail. I texted him, me. Ethan, call me right now. Are you okay? Where are you? No response. Panic clawed up my throat. I ran to my car and drove straight to his apartment. When I knocked, A neighbor poked his head out and said Ethan had left an hour ago with an older woman. My mother. I nearly blacked out. I called her. It rang once, then she picked up. "Sweetheart," she said warmly, "I'm in the middle of something important. Can this wait?" "Where is Ethan?" I demanded. "With me," she said, as if that answered anything. "We're discussing the future." "Put him on the phone." She sighed. "Honey, he's too emotional right now. He's overwhelmed. I don't want to pressure him." I screamed so loudly my throat tore. "Put him on!" There was a pause. Then Ethan's voice, shaky, strained. I'm here." "Are you okay?" I asked, heart pounding. She came to my apartment. She said it was urgent. She said she had news about my mom. She lied. When I realized she already had me in the car, she locked the doors. "My doors automatically lock," she said cheerfully in the background. "Stop being dramatic." "Where are you?" I cried. My mother answered, "On our way to the courthouse," she said. "Ethan needs guidance, structure. He needs someone to protect him from your manipulation. You're kidnapping him." She clicked her tongue. "Don't be ridiculous. Adult adoption is a legal process. I'm helping him start a new life. He doesn't want a new life. He doesn't know what he wants," she snapped. "That's why he needs me." I felt my vision blur. I was shaking so violently I nearly dropped the phone. "Mom, if you take another step toward that courthouse, so help me." "You'll what?" she asked softly. "Scream? Cry? Tell people I'm crazy? I've survived that before." Then she said the sentence that shattered what was left of my composure. "You can't stop me. I always win." And she hung up. I fell to my knees on the sidewalk, choking on air. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't know if she was wrong. I don't remember how I stood up. I don't remember how I got into my car. All I remember is the ringing in my ears, the tunnel vision, the violent trembling as I sped toward the courthouse like a person possessed. The entire drive felt unreal, like I was trapped inside someone else's nightmare. My mother had always been manipulative, controlling, suffocating. But this was something else entirely. She wasn't trying to make a point anymore. She was trying to rewrite my life. She was trying to take Ethan from me and mold him into something she could own. When I finally reached the courthouse, I saw her car parked by the entrance. My chest seized. I ran inside, nearly slipping on the polished floor, pushing through people as adrenaline pulsed so fiercely I could taste metal. "Where's the adoption office?" I gasped. A security guard pointed to the left. "Down the hall, third door." I didn't wait for him to finish. I sprinted, my footsteps echoing like gunshots. Before I even reached the office, I heard her voice, calm, smooth, charming. "Yes, he's 21, but the law permits adult adoptions if both parties consent. And we certainly do." "No, we don't." The words ripped out of me as I burst into the room. My mom turned slowly, her expression serene, like she'd been expecting me. Ethan sat beside her, shoulders hunched, eyes red. He looked like he hadn't slept, like he'd been crying. "Sweetheart," my mom said pleasantly, "you're interrupting." I ignored her and knelt beside Ethan. "Are you okay? Did she hurt you? What did she say?" He swallowed hard. She told me you were leaving me." My blood went cold. "What?" My mom sighed dramatically. I told him the truth. "You've been distant, irresponsible, prioritizing school and work over your relationship." Someone had to reassure him. "That is not what you said." She smiled. "He needed comfort." "You manipulated him." "Oh, please," she said lightly. "I simply told him what he already feared. It's not my fault you're unreliable." I stood, trembling. "Ethan, look at me." He hesitated, then lifted his eyes. And my heart cracked. He looked broken. "She said you were planning to move out of state," he whispered. That you were going to break up with me before your internship. She said she overheard you talking about cutting ties. I never said that, I cried. Ethan, she's lying. She said you confirmed it when you blocked her number. My mother folded her hands neatly in her lap, the picture of innocence. You always overreact. I merely filled the void you created. Ethan, I said, voice lowering, she wants to control you. She wants to control us. She'll do anything to win. My mom's eyes flashed sharp, victorious. Winning, she said softly, is simply about loving someone enough to fight for them. No, I growled. It's about control. It's always been about control with you. The adoption clerk cleared her throat. Ma'am, sir, this is highly irregular. Both parties must willingly consent, and he does consent, my mom insisted, gripping Ethan's hand possessively. He just needs support. Ethan flinched. I reached for him. Ethan, you don't want this. You told me that. You told M.E. He closed his eyes, tears gathering. I don't want it, he whispered. My mother stiffened. But, he continued weakly, she kept telling me I'm not strong enough to be on my own, that I need someone to guide me. And I don't know. I don't know anymore. My mom leaned toward him. Honey, it's okay to admit you need a mother. There's no shame in... Stop. The voice didn't come from me. It didn't come from my mother. It came from Ethan. Loud, clear, and shaking like it had been trapped inside him for years. Just stop, he said again, pulling his hand away from hers. You don't get to decide what I need. You don't get to tell me who I am. I'm not your son. My mother blinked rapidly, like she was buffering. Of course you are, she said eventually, her voice wobbling. You just don't realize it yet. No, Ethan said firmly. I'm not. The adoption clerk stood up. Ma'am, the petition cannot proceed. Please leave the office. My mother stared at Ethan as if he'd stabbed her. You're choosing her, she whispered. I'm choosing myself, he said. My mom recoiled like he'd slapped her. Her face twisted, grief, rage, disbelief, all folding into a familiar expression I recognized from childhood. Victim. Always the victim. You don't understand what you're doing, she hissed. She'll abandon you. She always abandons people. That's who she is. Ethan turned to me, voice soft. She lied. She told me things about you that weren't true. I'm sorry I believed her. My mother shot to her feet. No, you listen to me. Get out, I said. My mom stared at me, trembling with fury. You are ungrateful, she whispered. I gave you everything, and you repay me by humiliating me? I'm setting boundaries, I said, for the first time in my life. She laughed, but it cracked in the middle. You think you'll succeed without me? You think anyone will care about you? You're nothing without me, nothing. Ethan stepped between us. She's not nothing, he said. She's the only reason I didn't lose my mind this week. My mom's face distorted. I did this for you. No, he said. You did this for yourself. Security escorted her out as she screamed my name, Ethan's name, accusations, threats, sobs, a lifetime's worth of manipulation crumbling in real time. And for the first time ever, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. The fallout lasted weeks. My mom sent emails, long, dramatic, self-pitying monologues about betrayal and sacrifice. Then she shifted to anger, threatening to destroy me, then to sadness, then to begging. I didn't respond. I didn't unblock her. I didn't let her in. Ethan stayed at my place during the chaos. We talked for hours about his fears, my scars, all the invisible bruises my mother had left throughout my life. He apologized again and again for believing her lies. I apologized for letting her close enough to hurt him. One night, as he traced circles on my wrist, he whispered, "Do you think she'll ever stop?" "No," I admitted softly. But we can, and we did. We changed numbers, we moved, we got therapy, we built boundaries strong enough to hold. My mother kept trying to reach us for months. Letters, voicemails, gifts, messages through relatives. But with each failed attempt, her power faded. She couldn't control a daughter who wouldn't listen. She couldn't control a man who finally stood up to her. She couldn't control a story she didn't get to write. Ethan once joked, "At least we know she'll never try to adopt anyone again." I laughed. A real laugh. One I didn't have to fake. Because for the first time in my entire life, my story was mine. And no matter what my mother believed, no matter what fantasies she built in her mind, she didn't own us. She never would.